Hey guys, it's Cindy. Today I'm going to be doing my summer TBR. I decided I was going to go ahead and just do like a summer TBR versus like a monthly TBR because I have a lot of things right now that I'm also getting from like my library and stuff, and I don't want to like be too like limited to what I'm going to read every month, even though like I never read my TBR, let's be real. But I'm going to be partaking in the summer reading program from my local library. Whoa, that lighting was bad. So that's like kind of like an overview. So basically for each like subgroup of people, this is obviously like the adult one, they are going to be doing, there we go. So they're going to be doing like different reading challenges. So this is a bingo style challenge. You have to bring this in by September 22nd, and then you get a free paperback book of your choice, which I think is really cool. So they have different ones. I'm just going to pinpoint a couple. I don't want to like read every single one, but this is in Decatur. You guys are from that area. But they have like read a graphic novel, read a book written by a Georgian author. They have read a middle grade book that features a non-American protagonist. Read a fantasy or sci-fi book written by a person of color. Read a biography about someone from the Asian continent. They have read a novel by or about someone on the autism spectrum. So if you guys can see, there's like a lot of options as to what you can choose. I chose the first row going down, so I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys the challenge as well as what book I'm going to be reading. So the first one is read a YA novel. So for that one, I'm going with The Sun Is Also Starred by Nicola Yoon. I heard that this book is actually getting adapted soon, but it does have to do with a, I believe, an immigrant and a refugee, if I'm not mistaken. That might be wrong, but I know it is very diverse, and I know it takes place over like a course of one day, and I've heard a lot of good things about it. I actually really liked her other story, Everything, so I decided to go ahead and pick this one up. The next one is to read a fantasy or sci-fi book written by a person of color. So for that one, I'm choosing Scythe by Neil Shusterman. I've heard amazing things about this. It is about a utopian world where no one dies. There is no like illness or anything like that. Basically, everyone that dies is killed by someone who is a scythe. And other than that, there's like no crime or anything like that. So I'm really excited to read this one. I've heard amazing things ever since Thunderhead came out. So yes, that is my book choice. And then the next one is to read a novel whose protagonist is an African American man. And this is actually a book that I had to read, I believe, back in middle school, but I have not picked it up since then, and I just had a copy. I think it's the same copy that I had from when I was in middle school. So that is Monster by Walter Dean Myers. I've heard really good things about this. I've seen this a lot, like, not lately, but like in general. So I'm going to go ahead and pick this one up. This will be like a super fast read. If you can tell, like the lettering is really big, and it is like a smaller book. I think this is a middle grade novel, but basically it says Steve Harmon's black. He's in jail, maybe forever. He's on trial for murder, and he's 16 years old. So this is going to be a really great book, and they have like given this book a ton of awards, and I think it's really relevant to what's going on in today's society. Next I have read a book originally written in another language other than English. I have actually already read this. If you guys can see, I started it. I've read it like twice, like 1.5 times. I know that sounds weird, but like I read it one full time in my English class, and then I read it like halfway through for another I can't remember what class it was. It was like a human studies class, I think, or some sort of sociology class, and that is The Complete Persepolis by Marjane Satrapi. And I'm not sure if I'm going to read it all the way through. I mean, it is a graphic novel form, so it's really fast to read. This is The Complete Persepolis, but it comes in like 2 different forms, and this takes place in Iran. So I'm really excited to read this. I haven't read it in like a year or so, so I'm going to go ahead and pick this one up. So the last book I have is read a work of historical fiction with a protagonist of color. And this is, I don't really have that many historical fictions, first of all, so I was actually really surprised to find one on my shelf. And it is Midnight Without a Moon. Midnight Without a Moon by Linda Williams Jackson. I actually heard about this book off of Richard's, I think now he's like Richard's Media Geek, or he was Richard's Book Corner, I believe. And then let me just check, because he's gone through a couple of names and I don't want to like, I followed him back when he was Books and Bullshit, but let me see. I guess I'll go on Instagram. On a total side note, he like totally followed me on Instagram the other day and I was like losing my shit. Okay, so now it is Richard the Book Freak. So over at Richard the Book Freak, I heard this book being talked about, so I decided to pick it up off of, I think, Amazon. And it's basically like a historical fiction with a main character of a girl that actually was like living in the same town as Emmett Till when all of those things happened. So I think this is going to be really interesting. It is a middle grade novel, so I have 2 middle grade novels this month, which is very different, and they are going to be very impactful books. Okay guys, so those are the books that I'm going to be reading for the summer. I don't think this is going to take me that long to read, but like I said, I actually have like a lot of new releases and a lot of like library books that I have to read for the summer. So I'm super excited. If you guys have read any of these, or if you guys are partaking in something similar, please let me know what it is down in the comments below, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye!